Hello, everybody. Hey, Chris. All righty. It looks like the session is ready to start. I'll give it a couple more seconds and then we're going to just jump right into platform governance, my single favoriteest topic anymore. It's a technical term, Jeffrey. All righty. So I'm just going to dive right in. We only have 15 minutes and I'm working off of a couple different screens here. So forgive me if I drift towards the other one. But today we're going to talk about platform governance. Platform governance, probably not the most exciting topic of the day. I just watched some AI stuff that was pretty cool. But platform governance is kind of how you can avoid upgrade pitfalls. You can avoid overloading your team. There are numerous things that platform governance gives you where if you're just taking every bit of work in, if you are just reacting to the business, things can get pretty frustrating a little bit quickly. But if we added a little bit of process and add a little bit of governance to how we manage our platform, that will save you time and headache down the road, I promise. So what governance is not, it's not bureaucracy. I used to do a lot of ITSM work. One of the more challenging conversations, way back when ITIL first came out was, why should I do change management? It's going to take me longer to log the change than it's going to take to actually execute it. All those very valid things, but when something goes wrong because you might have fat fingered that change, or when the help desk is searching for what happened last night because nobody can get into ERP or some other critical system, change management is going to help you out there. So we want to avoid technical debt. We want to make sure we have some mechanism to ingest our work queue. This doesn't necessarily mean that you need to buy SPM. You don't have to have ideation and demand management and project agile to have a properly functioning governance board. You can have disconnected delivery. So, if your development team and your product team are not building in accordance with business goals, then what are they building and what's the point of it to begin with? And then lastly, just visibility into what's going on with the platform. ServiceNow is growing. It's more than just ITSM anymore. It's becoming a critical enterprise platform, which means we need to treat it as such. It is not the IT ticketing tool. That's actually one of the things that makes my skin crawl when I hear it at a customer environment. But we as the platform stewards, no, it's not the AI ticketing tool either, Jeff. But I like where you're heading. There are. Jeff, you threw me off my game now. There are numerous reasons that we should be treating this like an enterprise grade platform, because it is an enterprise grade platform and it always has been. We are finally just now 25 years into this journey, getting away from it being default called the IT ticketing tool. All right, so for those of you that have been through the CMA program, or I think they even touch a little bit of on CTA again, there are 3 pillars of platform governance that ServiceNow recommends. Excuse me. You have the strategic board, which I'm going to talk about quickly, but this is actually the hardest one to get into place because it does encourage executive participation and getting executives involved. Anything more than monthly or quarterly is going to be a challenge. Next up, you have the portfolio, which is really more of a demand review board. And by demand, I do not mean demand records. I mean things that people are asking for from you, your platform team. And lastly, the technical board, which is there to help prevent upgrade risks, prevent customizations that are going to break things. The technical board is, the most straightforward to set up, and B, probably one of the most critical, because that's where you need to talk and discuss the risk of things you are looking to change. when I was at a few partners prior to my current gig, we had a risk matrix of everything you could possibly change. And at the very tippy top were business rules, script includes, actually modifying out of box code being, some of the higher risk changes. But, there's a hierarchy of risk when it comes to changing ServiceNow capabilities. So the executive steering board, again, this is, it does in the title, it warrants executive participation. This can be done monthly. At first, I do like to do it monthly, but in all reality, this turns into something that usually winds up being quarterly. And the goal of the executive board is to make sure your platform plans, your projects, your programs, everything associated to your platform aligns with what your business goals are. If you are not aligning to what your business goals are, then, how do you know what you're building is going to actually provide value? And value is, a big term in today's ServiceNow game. But let's talk about the demand review board. Again, does not require SPM. You could build a catalog item and use catalog tasks or rhythms to manage your work intake. The key is that someone is evaluating it. Someone is looking at, is this the right thing to do for the platform? Is this, is this a solution that ServiceNow is going to be good at? I always say ServiceNow can probably solve 90 to 99% of most business problems that don't require fingers or human touch. But just because you can do something doesn't necessarily mean you should. There might be other platforms in the environment. There might be something else that you can do. Or you might have to build a scoped app to avoid customizing something. So that demand board is really, really important. But I want to highlight you don't need to use SPM for it. The fact that you are reviewing your work intake and someone is approving and evaluating things and making sure ServiceNow is the right fit is a victory unto itself. Next up, the technical review board. Again, this is something that we all on the call today can start today. You can start having the conversations. You can do peer review of your code. You can do the different things that everybody says that are best practices, but we never find the time to do it. Today is the day that you can stop that and start at least meeting with your team and talking about the things that could negatively impact your next upgrade. We all want to stay, N-1, N-2. You have to stay N-2 until they threaten N-1 again. It's been multiple years that story has changed. But start today, plan it, get the team together, and have that conversation around how you want to manage your platform. There are ServiceNow best practices. There are tools that you can use to help you manage and maintain the platform. There are a multitude of things out there that are for free from ServiceNow. There's pay for utilities in the store, but just start having the conversation with your team. Because if you don't start someplace, you're never going to start, and you're constantly going to be fighting the battle of, well, which enhancement is most important? Which story do I need to do next? What's the best outcome of this project going to look like? So some things to always consider as part of your technical board. Yes, we should try and stay out of the box. I'm not going to sit here and preach don't ever customize. I think that is a failing effort. The business drives what the tool needs to do, not the tool driving the business. But ServiceNow is pretty flexible. So if you can stay out of the box, that's the best case scenario. Always configure before you code if that's possible. There's some debate. I internally debate now whether or not coding is the actual default path rather than configuring because of AI. And, how soon is it going to be before you just have AI review what the code is doing versus, going in and trying to reconfigure or recode something. We're probably a few years away from that, but I have a feeling, ServiceNow is probably going to start changing their tune around coding versus customizing versus everything else. Outcomes over features. It's all about what the business value they are getting out of the platform. If you've ever had a CFO or a finance person come and say, "Hey, why am I paying so much for this tool?" It's pretty easy when you can say, "Well, it's doing all of our enterprise risk management. It's doing all of our procurement. It's handling all of our HR case management." I noticed I didn't mention ITSM once there because they probably don't care, but understanding the value the platform is giving to your business stakeholders is critical. So a couple of tools that are available, ServiceNow technical best practices. Yes, we know they violate it themselves regularly. I can't count how many sysids I continue to see inside script and code and every place else that's out of the box. And it irritates me to no end that I have instance scans that tell me ServiceNow has violated their own best practices. It's not a fight I'm going to win, so I've chosen to give up and leverage the tools that they make available to us to help ensure the platform is staying healthy. If you are one of the companies that have had impact forced upon you, and if you've done a relicensing anytime recently, chances are you've had to have this conversation. If they're going to force it on you, at least take advantage of Impact Health. Get those scores. It's something you can work towards to show the business that you are improving on the platform health and that you are knowingly taking the steps to make sure you are keeping this platform as up to best practices as possible. Instance Health, Impact Health leverages the Instant Scan capability. I know Instant Scan is about to be deprecated. I'm not quite positive what is going to replace it. However, some of the things I have seen in this next tool, Release Ops, are definitely going to go more towards what I believe Instant Scan is going to be taken care of today. Release Ops is brand new in Zurich. I've only been able to implement it at a couple of customers, but Release Ops and Instant Scan, once you've done all your cleanup, once you've gotten your health scan scores up to par where you think they need to be, Instant Scan and Release Ops are going to help prevent all of that garbage from getting right back into production because somebody was careless or somebody got lazy and decided to code instead of configure. It is kind of hard. You can really, really push against it if you want to. As a partner, I was able to successfully negotiate it out of my contract, but I've yet to see that from a customer. So, a little bit of a roadmap, prepare, figure out how you want to manage your platform, establish your platform governance pillars. Again, the third pillar of executive is not critical, but it will help ensure the platform is aligned to business goals. And when you are aligning to business goals, you are a lot more likely to get funding approved for additional resources and additional projects in the future when you can show that value coming back out of that project in the end. So, like I said earlier, start the conversation. Let's get the team together today and talk about how we want to manage the platform. Talk about how you want to improve the day-to-day of your ServiceNow life. It can be a slog, it can be a challenge, but it's also pretty fun. And I don't think anybody here is, at Knowledge is anti-ServiceNow or does not have a desire to make a career out of this platform. I did 12 years ago, and it was the best thing I've ever done. So that's the end of my presentation. Just in time, I apologize, no time for questions, but if anybody wants to ping me, I should be around for the networking event. Thanks, everybody. Should you set that update set to complete before you run an instant scan against it? Thanks, everybody.